Hello, everybody. My name is Nathan Schwausch. I'm the 11th and 12th grade college advisor for Sinton High School, and I'm joined by Aaron Mosley, who is the 11th and 12th grade college advisor for Mathis High School. Today, we're going to be talking to you all about something that's very important to the college selection process, and that's reading financial aid award letters. One of the most common questions we get from students is, how do I know what financial aid I'm getting, how much money I'm getting? And the way you can see that is through receiving financial aid award letters from schools. So we're going to talk about what is in those financial aid award letters, what you need to look out for, and what your next steps are after receiving a financial aid award letter from your schools that you applied to. So first, just a quick little refresh of the financial aid timeline. So in the fall, you should have all hopefully submitted your college applications. And then after submitting your college applications, the FAFSA opens on October 1st. Now, when you complete your FAFSA, you should have sent it to each of the schools that you have submitted applications to. Now, if you are going to go back and apply to some schools that you did not apply to in the fall, you will still need to go back and make sure to make a FAFSA correction to send the FAFSA information to the schools that you have applied to. If those schools have not been listed on your FAFSA to receive your financial aid information, then they won't be able to send you a financial aid award letter. So many schools send out financial aid award letters in the spring semester. A lot of them are just now starting to come out. I've seen some students who've gotten financial aid offers from A&M Corpus Christi and UT San Antonio within the past week or two. So those are starting to slowly roll out. And if you haven't received one just yet, just stay patient a little bit. They might still be slowly working their way out, or you might want to double check to make sure that they did receive your financial aid information. So what exactly is a financial aid award letter and what's included on it? So first, a financial aid award letter is going to outline the cost of attendance, or the overall expected cost of you attending that university. Next, after listing the cost of attendance, it's going to include the different types of financial aid that you are being offered. So the different types of financial aid can include aid from the federal government, such as the Federal Pell Grant, Federal Supplemental Education Opportunity Grant, federal student loans. It can include different types of state financial aid, such as the Texas Grant, or it can also include institutional aid, such as institution-specific scholarships, or even some schools may have institution-specific grants available to offer as well. So typically then a financial aid award letter will show you the cost of attendance, and then it'll show you how much aid you're being offered. And then, as we'll see later, it'll show you what your overall cost to attend that university would be when factoring in the cost of attendance minus the types of financial aid that you are being offered. So specifically, the different types of financial aid that you'll see on a financial aid award letter would include, first of all, free money, which is money that you don't have to pay back. Those are grants, like I said, the Federal Pell Grant, Supplemental Education Opportunity Grant, Texas Grant. That can include scholarships, such as the institutional scholarships, the Dean's Scholarship, President's Scholarship. That can include work study opportunities, where you have the opportunity to work on campus through somewhere like the financial aid office, campus rec center. You get paid money that you can use to pay for educational expenses. And that can also include subsidized loans, unsubsidized loans, and the Parent Plus loan. So subsidized loans and unsubsidized loans, it's important to know the difference between the two. With a subsidized loan, you take that money out and they do not start accruing interest until 6 months after you leave school or graduate. Unsubsidized loans, on the other hand, start accruing interest the day you take them out. So in a lot of cases, students may be offered both subsidized and unsubsidized loans. So that's important for you to review how much of those loans you're being offered and review the different terms and conditions of those loans, and you can decide if you want to accept just the subsidized loan, if you want to accept the subsidized and unsubsidized loans, or if you want to accept none of the loans. That is an option when you review a financial aid award letter. You can just accept the free money, but decline the loans. Mm-hmm. And additionally, you may also see a Parent Plus loan offered on your financial aid award letter. That is a loan that is taken out by the parent to help pay for your educational expenses as well. So here are some important considerations when reviewing different parts of the financial aid award letter. First of all, it's important to review what exactly is being included in that school's cost of attendance. Each school's financial aid award letter is going to be a little different in what they consider with the cost of attendance. Some may just include tuition and fees in the cost of attendance. Others may actually include a little more than that, may include something like books and supplies. A lot of times they will not necessarily include housing. They may, but they may not. If they do not include housing, make sure you consider how much housing is going to cost, because if you're going to stay on campus, that can be a pretty big expense. And that kind of segues into the next part of additional costs. If you're going to a school that's far away, you are also going to need to consider additional costs of travel. For example, if you go to University of Michigan, you may have to fly back and forth if you want to go back home to Texas to visit family for the holidays. Obviously, that's not going to be included in your financial aid award letter because that's a variable expense. And like I said, if housing is not something that's considered on your financial aid award letter, you would also need to consider that, and also just basic living expenses, like how much money am I going to spend on something, personal care, Netflix, that kind of stuff. Additionally, if you're offered scholarships, it's important to review the different scholarship requirements. If they're a renewable scholarship, say it's a $40,000 scholarship, $10,000 a year, you may have to meet certain requirements to receive that scholarship. After your first year, you may need to maintain a certain minimum GPA, or you may need to keep a certain major. If, for example, you're receiving a specific major a specific scholarship for history major, if you decide later you want to change from a history major to, say, communications, you might lose that scholarship. Another consideration is something we call aid displacement. For example, if you receive different types of financial aid from the institution itself, but then you go and receive private scholarships, local scholarships from like Coca-Cola Foundation, local Rotary Club, and you report those to the university. In some cases, they may go back and withdraw some of the institution-specific aid, since you're reporting private financial aid that you're receiving separate from the school. Like I was talking about earlier, different types of loans is an important consideration. That's why it's important to make sure you review and understand the differences between subsidized and unsubsidized loans. Some students feel more comfortable only taking out the subsidized loans, but not doing unsubsidized loans. Some students do not want to take out any of the loans. Again, that is an option, so you don't feel obligated to take out any of the student loans. And lastly, the amount of unmet need. If you receive a lot of financial aid from one school, but it still has a really expensive cost of attendance, and say you're $3,000 short, you have to consider, how am I going to make up that unmet need? Do I have enough money in savings account? Am I going to need to work outside of school, get another job? Am I going to have to figure out another way to make that money? That's something else that you will need to consider as well. All right, so now I'm going to turn it over to Erin, who's going to talk a little bit about what these specific packages may look like.
Hey y'all, so this is an example of a financial aid package. These either you're going to receive in the mail, sometimes they might come through email, or most likely they're going to be found on your student portals for your particular universities. If you don't know how to get into your student portal or you're not sure what that is, please, please, please contact one of us or the college counselor at your high school to help you with that. Super important that you know how to get in there so you can look and see what your financial aid looks like. So this is a generic financial aid award letter. Up top here, it is the cost of attendance, which that includes your tuition, your fees, sometimes your room and board. It just depends. So you really want to look at that, break it down, as Nathan said. So cost of attendance is essentially how much it's going to cost per year, give or take. Then down at the bottom, a lot of the times, the letters will tell you the expected net cost. That's that unmet aid or the unmet need. So that's what you have left to cover. So in this case, $9,950. That's still a lot, but let's take a closer look at this. So on here, you can see the free money. So federal Pell Grant, the Perkins L grant of some sort. You can see those on there, even a specific college grant. So free money totals out to be about $13,500. So that's pretty good. That's a decent amount of aid. But when we're looking at the cost of attendance being $41,200, how are we making the rest of the money? Next one, here's your loans. So got a couple here, the unsubsidized and the subsidized loans. As Nathan mentioned before, keeping in mind the differences, subsidized doesn't accrue interest, whereas the unsubsidized does. So if you are an undergraduate student, which means you've never been to college before, this is going to be your first year, not including dual credit, you are an undergraduate student and therefore are going to be offered these student loans. No matter how much else is on there of free money, these loans are still going to be offered to you. Loans in all, we'll probably make a separate video or at least talk a little bit more about them at a later time. And you feel free to reach out to us and get our opinions on student loans. It is a topic that you definitely want to talk about, at least with your parents at the very least. So that's the student loans. And then there's one more on here, the parent loan. So this is the Parent Plus loan that Nathan mentioned. I believe it stands for Parent Loan for Undergraduate Students. So here for this one is $12,200, which is a substantial sum of money that you probably don't want to be taking out. So now that we see kind of what the financial aid package looks like, we can break it down and see the different areas. Let's calculate the total cost. So don't trust what they're saying your net cost is going to be. That's one thing that I really recommend, that you go through and calculate out yourself, because the college wants to make it look as nice as possible for you to try and get you to come to their school. So slow down, take a step back, and calculate it out for yourself. So for this, we're going to not include the Parent Plus loan because I personally don't recommend students have their parents take out loans for their undergraduate, graduate, any of their schooling. I think that can put an unnecessary strain on the family. So we're just not even gonna think about that one. So let's see this breakdown. So COA, that's the cost of attendance, the $41,200. So we're gonna go ahead and subtract out the free money. So these are the grants that you're being given, or the scholarships, work study, anything like that. In this case, the $13,500 is gonna be subtracted out, and we're left with $27,700. That is a significant sum of money to need to be met. Even with the student loans, you subtract out that $5,500, the unmet need for this financial aid award package is actually $22,000. That's a huge difference. So Nathan, if you could press one more. So this is what we're looking at here. This is why I say never trust what the financial aid package is telling you that your expected net cost is going to be. Calculate it out yourself, because there's a huge difference between nearly $10,000 and $22,000. So calculate them out, have us look at them, bring them to your college counselors. We are happy to go through this process with you. Every single financial aid award package is going to look different. They may not use the same exact terminology. They may not break things down as cleanly. We can help sort them out. We're glad to help, happy to do that. I like doing it. It's just math, just little puzzles kind of. So definitely let us look at them. We won't judge. All right. So in a situation where maybe someone in your family lost a job, or there's been a significant change to the family's income, sometimes you might have to do a financial aid appeal. So I want to talk briefly about this. A financial aid appeal just means that you want the college to reevaluate how much financial aid that they're giving you. So this has to be based on new information. If nothing really has changed and it's just like, well, why didn't they give me this much money? That's not really going to help you in this case. This has to be some additional information that you're bringing them that changes the situation. As I mentioned, some of these could include a family lost a job, someone had unexpected hospital bills, things like that that aren't really there when you're looking at the taxes, especially since it has to use the prior year. And we've gone through a really interesting last year through COVID and everything. So talk about with your college advisor, with us, if you might need to do an appeal. They're fairly rare, but we can still help you through the process. There's also a really awesome website that we were made aware of fairly recently, actually. It's Swift Student. This is the link here for it. And they'll actually help you write your financial aid appeal. It's kind of like fill in the blank, you plug in your information and it pre-fills in a little letter for you. It's so nice, it'll save you time. But before you go through that process, definitely talk to either one of us or your college counselor at your high school. That way we can kind of help you through that process and either confirm or explain the situation to see whether or not you actually should be doing an appeal. So yeah, talk to us if you have questions. Financial aid is one of the biggest barriers for students to go to college. So we're here to help and make that easier. So that about wraps us up on talking about financial aid award letters. If you do end up watching this video and you're one of our students from Mathis or Senton, the 11th and 12th graders, please text us or email us so that we know that you watched it. And just let us know if you have questions. We're here to help. And then over here is our Bio FM if you need to schedule meetings with us, and it has links to all of our sites. So thank you guys for watching our video. We appreciate it. Do your financial aid.
Bye.